Professional counseling to individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Let's Chit Chat. We are going to be with you today. And I'm Pastor Cecile. Jackie, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jackie. I'm one of them. I've known Cecile for quite some years now, so I'm happy to be here today.
Brilliant. We are certainly happy to be here tonight. And we are missing on our two co-hosts. Hopefully they will join all three. We're missing on Odile, we're missing on Pastor Enoch, we're missing on Richard, but they can come in anytime. We're expecting them anytime today. So our topics today is, what do you expect from a relationship with children if you are going out with someone who already has children from a previous relationship? What are the do, are the don'ts? What do you really expect? Because often enough, good relationship do happen to go sour just because there are children involved, and maybe the person was not quite prepared, or one partner was not quite prepared for the scene or the scenery of children. So, what do you expect from a relationship where children are involved? Jackie, what do you think? What do you expect? What can one expect?
I've never really been in that situation, but I have heard from people that obviously they've been in situations where the other person has had children from a previous partner, and there's been like complications, like, you're not my dad, you're not my real dad, don't tell me what to do. And, there might be an instant dislike from the child, thinking, oh, that person's taking the place of my dad, or vice versa. That person's trying to take the place of my mum. That's the reason my parents are not together. It's it's like a accumulation of what goes on in the child's mind as well.
So you are saying that sometimes when one enters a relationship with children involved, there could be quite a lot of issues.
Yeah,
And
good.
so where do you think problems or issue comes from, saying that children are really children and they always going to be children? So how can people manage to maintain, to control, to really guard or protect that relationship?
It can be. I mean, I would suggest the first thing to establish with the children is try to make a good bond with them, and to try and explain you're not taking the place of their dad or their mum. That obviously you might think the world of the dad, or you might think the world of their mum, and and try and do happy things together, like going out, doing special things, like maybe touring London, or going on like cinema, or doing things with them, like family. I don't
But
know.
I think, Jackie, often enough, when one enters a relationship where there are children involved, sometimes because the children are already quite upset about their parents not being together, that alone can bring them to create relationship to the new partner that comes in to join the family. That is because they want either their dad or their mom to be there. So that alone, if you enter a relationship where children are adamant that their parents should be together, and perhaps maybe they even accusing you or splitting that relationship. You might not have been involved in the split of the relationship, but they probably might have ideas or think that you were involved. And even if they don't have idea that you were involved, they might still think that their parents can still come together if you're not there. So if you become one of these people who enters that kind of relationship where the children have those kind of idea and behavior, what do you think the person should do? What do you think about it?
Well, it's quite difficult because a child might be going through emotions, they might blame the other person for what's gone on. They might say, "Oh, you're the cause of the breakup between mum and dad." Even though you might not have been around. I mean, it's just like trying to build something with some stability with that child. You know, but gradually, I think, rather than be there constantly all the time with them. Yeah. So I would suggest to maybe if you're living with someone like a spouse, either a man or woman, and they've got children, then obviously let the dad or the mum have their special time with the children, and then maybe you could get involved in like one one weekend with them, or like on a Saturday or Sunday, maybe go to lunch and take it gradually, like gradual build up rather than being there constantly.
That's good. That's good. That might make a difference. But Jackie, there might be children whom you already find in that relationship that they have grown, they're a certain age, not grown as grown, but they're a certain age where they feel like as long as you're not their mom or as long as you're not their dad, biological mom or biological dad, you have no say in what they do and how they behave. They don't want you to say anything. They don't want you to have any authority or any influence in them, or even made or said something or anything in whatever they do in the house, meaning that whatever behavior they behave, they don't really want to give you any regard. So things like that, who do you think should be able to ease that relationship where a child thinks, oh, you're not my mom, so you cannot tell me what to do. You're not my dad, so you cannot tell me what to do. You're just my mom's partner or my dad's partner or whatever, and I cannot take anything from you. What exactly who do you think should be the liaison in order to settle that relationship?
Right, right. For example, I believe that it's very hard for teenagers, especially at like adolescents up to the age of, I don't know, 18, 21, etc., even older. But it would be down to the spouse you're with. Like, so if it was me and I was with my partner and his children didn't like me, and I said, like, I'm not being funny, but can you come in at a certain time? Can you not have the TV on so loud? And they go to me, you're not my mum, don't tell me what to do. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I accept that, but we all need to sleep. I would just have to talk to my partner and say, well, could you have a word? Because, you know, I'm not their mum, they're not listening to me. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is my house, my flat as well. Yeah. So, how do
Did,
you feel about that? Do you think that's quite good, or how would you go about it?
Well, to me, I think I will say that if something have like that does happen, and really truly, and you know that you're not these children's mother, the best what probably I will do is to go to the father and talk to the father and say, well, this is the situation. Can you ease? I probably will talk to the children and make effort to talk to the children as much as I can and
Mhm.
explaining that, okay, I might not be your mother, or I'm not your mother. Of course, 100% I'm not your mother, but I could be your mother. And again, any adult deserves some kind of respect. So, of course, I will try to reason as much as I can with the children first. If it doesn't work, then I will go to the dad and explain the situation and try to level the ground. But Jackie, there are instances where older stepmom or stepdad will come into scene and just rather probably behave the same way the children are behaving, either become bitter or become very offensive, become very impatient, or impose the rules in the house and enforce that the children must follow the rule, and the dad must force them by all means to follow the rules. If not, then they should leave the house. What do you think about such a partner?
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's a good one. What you said, Cecile. But the thing is, you might find some partners, like the children's dad or mum, vice versa, um, be really defensive with their children. They're not doing that. They're not doing. It must be you. What are you doing? You know, and then the situation just becomes really difficult as well.
Okay, so really, you're touching on when the partner or the parents, children, whoever is those children parent is not taking proactive action in
Yeah.
order to actually resolve that issue. So that's where the other partner also stand their ground. This is Let's Chit Chat. If you just tune in, we are talking about a relationship where children are already involved, and how sometimes that relationship can become very difficult or very controlling by children, what they say, or very dictating by children, or perhaps very dictated by the partner who has entered the relationship and imposing. Sometimes it's not just the children, Jackie, sometimes it could be a partner who it comes in the relationship and impose their rules in the house, and everyone must obey and must follow. Sometimes they're not looking at it, okay, these are children, but they just want the rules and to be followed. What do you think? What do you think about that? Where a partner just comes in and impose the other partner and the children. If I have to stay in this has to be the rule. This are either is fair or not fair. They just impose the way they want the place to be. What do you think? And the other partner is put in the corner, strictly in the corner, more or less in between the partner and the children. They don't know which way to run, which way to go. What do you think about that?
Right. Okay. Well, if say for instance, I was with your partner and he's not listening to me, he's being defensive with his children. He said, "Look, I've told them the rules, and they're obeying them as far as I'm concerned. So it must be you. You must be the problem. What are you doing to trigger my children's behaviour off? Because they're so good around me, so I can't see there being a problem. Then I would just have to maybe stay away for a night or to go somewhere. I think I don't know. I really don't know. It's really complicated.
Jackie, I quite love what you said earlier. You just repeated that to create some space in between, have a space where you just with your children, and have a space where you are together. So that way, the children still feel that they have a space in your life, because sometimes the other partner might just join and invades the space, and
Yeah,
invade the area where the children feel completely rejected or abandoned or forgotten. So
yeah,
that way they become jealous that the
yeah.
mom or the dad been taken away.
I mean, they could be thinking, "Oh, you're that woman. She took my dad away. He's not even around us as much as what he was before." So it's like an instant dislike. So I think, yeah, in that situation, I think it's good to let the father and the children, or mother and the children, be together, spend some time together on their own before you come along. Maybe you could come the next day so they've had some quality time together, maybe.
Mm, I love that because there are some relationship where a man comes or a woman comes and they completely make themselves everywhere and anywhere, and the space is not created for the previous relationship or children with their father or a mother with their children. So although the family is together, they must be together, but there still needs to be some space created in order for the family to bond properly.
Yeah,
Maybe that also might create problem. There are also women who come and they decided that, you know, as long as I'm in, no space created is me. I invade all the space, I invade the environment, I establish myself, and literally the children don't have any space at all with the other partner, either the mom or the dad. Then at the same time they create problem for those children. What do you think about those such partner? Because some come and actually completely split the family, split the mother and the children, or split the father and the children, creates unnecessary complaints that should not be there. What do you think about that? And
well,
sometimes the other partner is blind, actually blind to whatever is going on because of excessive love.
yeah, yeah. That is the problem. I mean, obviously, if the dad is totally in love with the woman and she's not leaving the house and giving like him and the children space on their own, then why can't the dad just make some days out together with his children? You know, I mean, and why can't the woman go and see her friends for a few hours?
Go and do something.
Yeah,
Leave them, give them some space.
yeah, even if it's for a few hours, I think, like
But
the lady, if it was myself, would go shopping or do whatever, maybe come back and say, "Oh, I'm going out. I'm going to see my friend for a few hours," just so they've got some time with their dad, or vice versa, or they've got some bonding time with their mum.
often enough, Jackie, often enough, children in such relationship will call their stepmother my wicked stepmother, or lazy stepfather, or whatever it is. Do you think those discussions or those topics should be discussed at the beginning of the relationship, really to find a point, an agreement, some kind of central point where everyone knows that this is what we are engaging in, and if things become difficult, this is the way we're going to take them or the way we go about it. Is it just because at the beginning you just assume that, oh, we are in love, everything was just run smoothly, and if whatever we see, then should there be discussion that people need to really take serious at the beginning and really iron out that this is the situation, this might happen, if it does happen, this is how we're going to deal with it.
Yeah, I think sometimes at the beginning of a relationship, maybe with the children as well, maybe the children are really happy and think, "Oh, I really like this person dad's with or who my mum's with." And then as time goes on, they change their mind and they think, "Oh no, that person's taking my dad away from me or my mum away from me." and then there's instant dislike. So, so I mean, talking about boundaries to start with, I mean, situations always change, don't they, as they go along. So, I mean, I believe if there is any issues with the children, then try and sit down, be calm, present, maybe talk to them, what's upsetting you, what don't you like, let's try and make changes. I'll give you some time with your dad alone or your mum alone, or, because they're young adults, aren't they? Really, and they've got feelings. And seeing their parents split up and go with someone else is quite traumatic as well for them. It's quite traumatizing. So,
Jackie, can I just ask you a question? This question is probably based on people who already have children already. As a parent, if you already have children already and you're entering into a relationship where they are also older children, you as a parent, you know that your children don't always say yes to everything that you do, no matter the age.
mhm,
Children always don't say yes to everything that we said as parents. So
yeah,
you actually know that your children also have some kind of character behavior
mhm,
that you have to cope with and you have to accept and you have to love them the way you are. And patience is the key. But then often enough, when such a person meets somebody else's children, why don't they exhibit the same patience, the same love, the same understanding, the same just supportive behavior that they do with their own children? Is it because it's somebody else's children that they tend to be very snappy and get upset and complain? Because after all, we all have children that are not often enough going how we want them to go. What do
no.
you think?
Um, I think it's really down to the individual, how they act with the younger children and what their bond is like. If there's no bond, then, I just think it's quite hard to uh, like to be empathetic and understanding with them. But, they are little and, they need guidance in their life. So I think just to empathise with them and, you know, try and talk to them if there's a problem, and obviously let them have their space with it, either their mum or dad, and quality time together. And even
This
if,
is
yeah, and even if that involves you going somewhere else for the day.
This is Let's Chit Chat. If you just tune in, we're talking about a relationship where children are already involved and how to manage a relationship where you find that your partner already has children. What do you do? Now, Jackie, this question comes back. We know that in any relationship, it's just someone else entering, an extra person entering the family, and therefore it takes time to get used to the people in the family. It takes time for people to know your character, for you to know other people's character, and really for you to be, some people could accept you straight on, like they said. And then after some time, they realize that no, we don't like this person after all. But often enough, there's always understanding, communication, love going on in a natural father and mother family in terms of children towards their own biological children. But while they're not always the same patience, the same understanding, the same communication, the same negotiation in a family where another partner has come in and found children, or they have brought in their own children. Why they not always that foundation? Is it because maybe the partner is thinking it's not my children, so I wouldn't really pay more attention to those one, or I would not really care so much as if I'm caring for my children? Or is it sometimes because people might say, I didn't marry you for your children, I married you for yourself. So therefore, I'm not really going to spend time in trying to be patient or understanding. What do you think? Because there should be that element of love, that element of patience. It doesn't matter. If you love your partner, then you must be able to cope with his children or love his children or support them until otherwise. So why is it that that love often enough in some relationship is really lacking, and sometimes it becomes very bitter?
Yeah, I totally agree with you that if you're in love with someone, then obviously you will try your utmost to try and bond with the kid, have a good relationship with them, and if there's anything that, well, I would say, is there anything you don't like or anything that's annoying you, let's sit down and talk about it. But a lot of people don't. So my suggestion would be let them have family time with the dad or mum, let them have time and then you come in like the next day or later on that day, come home.
Hmm. Richard, thank you so much. Richard is online and Richard is viewing. Richard is asking a question. Richard is asking, what are the chances that a relationship will break down because of the previous one did? The previous one did broke down, and Richard said that, what are the chances that the relationship will break down because the previous one did? Okay, Jackie, do you want to answer
Right,
that?
what does he mean by previous one
The
is?
previous one, meaning that the two partner or the partner who has children, previous relationship broke down. So now they embark into a new relationship with children. So what are the chances that this new relationship will also break down because they are children who probably not creating or adding to the problems? What are the chances that such a relationship can stand or can break down?
Right, okay, if the children are obviously with mum or with dad and they don't see the father or mother and their relationship broke down, and the children must be in some kind of trauma over this, and they're in a new relationship with mum or dad, for example, and mum's got a new partner or dad's got a new partner, then the children are going to be unstable. They're going to be pretty tough to get through to, and if that person loves that person, then they have to just persevere, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be something you need to work towards gaining trust with the children and taking things gradually, but slowly.
Hmm. Thank you, Jackie. I probably will go with Jackie's answer as well, Richard. I think if the two people are really love each other and they're really supportive of each other, there's nothing they cannot, no problem they cannot resolve. So I think they will try to, both of them, not let the children come between the two of them and manage those children as if they were their own both biological children, where they will be supportive until perhaps the children will come around. Some children don't come around at all, but then we have to just learn to accept that maybe these children will never like me, they will never love me. So it doesn't mean that you have to hate them. It just means that you just agree and accept that, okay, they don't like you, they don't love you, you're not their mom or you're not their dad. You can live with that, but still be there for them if they need you and whenever they need you. A reason I will say that because if when you do have your children, you definitely love your children and you wouldn't want any harm to come to them. And if you're in a relationship, you will also expect your partner to love your children because if they don't, then you're not satisfied no matter what they give you. It wouldn't satisfy you no matter the love they give you. If the same love is not received by your children, then you're thinking this is not right. So there can easily be a chance of that relationship breaking up. Richard, I will say that the relationship can easily break up also if one partner realizes that the other partner is a bit too harsh on the children unfairly. If it's not fair, then definitely the relationship can easily break down. And again, children have a way of manipulating parents as well, so they can easily manipulate. So it's just for the two partners to understand and know how to both be supportive and be supportive of children. This is Let's Chit Chat. If you just tune in, we are talking about a relationship where children are involved. Both partner perhaps might have children, or one partner brings in children in the relationship. How do you cope with that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the issue, the trouble, the hardship, if there are any? How do you accept those children and treat them as your own children? So Jackie, I was just asking Jackie that is if it's a question where people have to discuss it at the beginning of the relationship. But Jackie, if you get to the beginning of the relationship where such issue has never popped up, never been discussed, nothing came up, but then you find yourself madly in love with this person, and the children decided that they're not going to like you, they're not going to listen to you, they're not going to love you. As a matter of fact, they said you shouldn't be there in the first place. How would you deal with that?
Oh God. I think I would have to talk to my partner and say, like, I really don't think that kids like me, but I'm trying to be civilized, I'm trying to be nice, I'm trying to give you space as a family, and I just have to, I don't know, I just have to try and step back, I think, and see what happened. But obviously, if there was like really major issues, I couldn't live in the house with the children if they don't like me. I'd have to maybe move out. So,
It is a hard question. Pastor is also online. Pastor just said the first relationship I think must be a stepping stone. He said the first relationship I think must be a stepping stone to build a strong relationship than the first one. So,
mhm.
so the first relationship must be a stepping stone to build a strong relationship. Richard is saying, suppose that new relationship involve a black and a white partnership, and the child has racist thoughts because of bad experience from a previous relationship. Wow. What would it be useful or toxic? Would it be useful or toxic? Wow, Richard is bringing such a hard
Oh
question,
God, that's
and
what
he's not here to discuss it
so
today.
what makes this a child?
So Richard is saying that suppose a relationship, Jackie, you are in a relationship with a black person, a black man. I just take you as an example,
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then either your children or the black man children have experienced some kind of racism in the past. And now these children thinking, hold on here, Jackie is white. Jackie's married to my dad. And I've experienced racist comment or behavior from a white woman. Let's even say it wasn't a white man, it was even a white it was a white woman. So what would you do, Jackie? What would you do? This is a hard one.
Right, okay. I'll try and be nice and civilized. I try and sit down with the children and try and explain that I'm not racism, and I believe everyone to their own opinion, and I believe a person is good, no matter what colour they are, or race, or culture. And I try and establish a good relationship with them children if I could. And I'd say if there's anything worrying you, then write it down. Let's have a secret box and we can go through it next week and talk about it. And I try and do things like take them out for dinner, let's go cinema. I'm not that bad person, even though I'm white and you've had bad experience. So that would be my way of sorting things out.
Jackie, I definitely love your answer because your answer is tailored to the situation and to the person. So they should get to know you by yourself, but not to get to know the what next person who is the next door neighbor without knowing you as an individual, but not to put stereotyping as if every person is actually racist to
Mhm.
get to discover you yourself and then pick it up from there. Pastor Enoch is saying that you should consider yourself. At the end of the day, the children will leave you and go. Now, Pastor Enoch, I'm going to ask you this question. You said the person should consider themselves good enough, fair enough. The children will leave you and go. That's fine. But let's assume your children are still young and they're very young and you need to raise them to get to the level where they will up and go, and you feel like you have to protect these children, you have to raise them in your surrounding, not to feel like they will up and leave. What do you do then, Paseno? What do you do? And if the relationship is not working between your partner and your children, Richard is saying, Jackie sound like a great partner, very thoughtful. Richard is giving you compliment. Unfortunately, he cannot be here to give them by himself. So Pastor Enoch is saying, you should consider yourself after all the children will up and leave. That's very right. I do agree with Pastor Enoch 100%. When the children are grown and they are mature, but if they are still young and they are still very delicate, how do you go about creating peace in the family? And again, I will ask this question, Jackie and Pastor Enoch and Richard and any viewer. If you have a partner whom is the original father or the mother, biological father or the mother of those children, but doesn't live with those children, but manage to actually influence the children to create disorganization in your relationship because they are partner whom you have separated with them, but they are very toxic with the children, and they ensure that any relationship that you enter, they use the children as a tool to destroy that relationship. They use, of course, innocent children. Children are innocent, and children will do or say whatever an adult asks them to do or say. So
Oh,
what do you do? What definitely would you do for that situation? So Jackie, while I'm waiting for our two co-hosts to come back to us, if you have a partner and your partner has left, but you have your children in your new relationship and the partner is influencing the children to destroy that relationship, what would you do?
first, I would sit down, talk to the children. Hopefully, they're old enough to know better. Then I would talk to my ex-partner and say, like, what are you doing? What are you planning out? I mean, I'm in a new relationship. They're misbehaving. What are you doing? And then I'll try and get to the bottom of it. And if it won't resolve, then obviously you would have to, uh, you'd have to cut contact a little bit, wouldn't you? Because so the dad's having the kids every Sunday, and then they're coming back, and all week they're just playing up. I mean, you know, that's really not on, is it? So, yeah, I would absolutely have to talk to the dad. And if he wasn't going to come to some agreement and be civilized, then I'd say, okay, well, I think this has to go to court, or this has to, you know, contact has to be like once once every 2 weeks instead of like once a week or something. You know.
I love your answer, Jackie. I'll come back to your answer. Pastor Enoch is saying that if they are young, I think long distance relationship will help. They can be sleepover. The woman can sneak in often for her enjoyment till the kids grow up mentally to accept the fact of wow. Will that woman agree to sneak in, Pastor Enoch? Will the woman agree to sneak in while you keep your children's heart under the shield or protected? A woman can also say, "Oh, is it not?" A woman can also say, "You are using me. You are using me because I should not be sneaking in. I should be official. If we are in a relationship, I should not be sneaking in until your children grow." What makes me think that once they grown, a relation, there's ever going to be a relationship that is using somebody, I think. Richard says, I would try and stamp my character on and personality on the children, allow them to see me for me. If they accept me over time, then great. So Jackie, Richard said he will stamp in, he will show his character, he will do everything possible. Pastor Enoch says a woman can sneak in and sneak out until the children are mature enough. Jackie, will you agree to sneak in and sneak out until the children are mature enough to understand?
No, not if I was in the proper relationship. No.
Pastor no, Jackie said categorically, no, she will not sneak in and sneak out until you make your children become mature enough. She will want you to step up as a man and face the fact and deal with it personally. This is Let's Chit Chat. If you just tune in or just join in, we are talking about a relationship where children are involved, where one or both parents have children, but it find it difficult for the children to accept one or the other partner. What do you do? Do you run away from the relationship? Do you stay in and trying to resolve it and make the children accept you? Do you stay in and separate the dad and the children, or the mom and the children? Do you stay in and complain about the children and find every little fault or mistakes in order for you to highlight um, that you need to stay in? Jackie Pastor Enoch is saying you need to compromise. So sneaking in and sneaking out, Pastor Enoch sees it as a compromise. So you need to compromise. Richard is asking a question. Should children really make or break an adult relationship? Shouldn't the adult take priority, or is it a situation doomed to fail? So Richard is asking, should the children really make or break a relationship? Shouldn't adults take priority, or is it a situation doomed to fail? Richard wants to know, Jackie, should
Right.
the children
Okay.
take priority?
I think it's down to the adults to take priority, but obviously, you know, children have got feelings, emotions, so obviously they need to be included as well.
I absolutely agree with Jackie Richard. Adults should be in control of the relationship. Adults should agree or set the rule. And if there's love, you can set the rule with the children. If there's the understanding and there's fairness, You can set the rule with children and with your partner, agree how to both go about when the situation arises, when issue arises, what is fair and what is not fair, what is just and what is not just. It's only when the two adults cannot agree in the first instance, then definitely that relationship is doomed or of is going to fail, because if the two adults don't agree in the way they're going to raise these children, or the way they what to accept and what not to accept from the children, how to defend and not to defend children when they're wrong or right, then obviously the relationship is going to fail. No two ways about it. Children already from both biological parents, mom and dad, they have a way of getting into between the two of them. One can say, oh, mom always allow me to go out, or dad always give me money, or dad says he was going to buy me a phone, and then mom says you don't deserve a phone because you haven't worked in the kitchen. So children always have ways of playing both parents. But if they are, one is biological and one is not, then it's often dangerous if you're not in control. Richard is saying, Brother Enoch, have you ever or would you ever sneak in and add like an expert boxer? Lol. Let it be clear, would you or the panel ever accept sneaking in and add if kids don't like you? Richards, we just said, Jackie said she will not agree to sneak in and out if the children don't like you. And I personally will not sneak in and out if the children don't like me. Either they like me, I'm there, or they don't like me, I'm still there, and I'm still present, and I'm still open. Definitely would not sneak in. I would feel like, what am I doing? This is not dignified. This is not good, because it's not going anywhere. It's just crazy to sneak in and out. Jackie, what do you think?
I think it's crazy too. I mean, obviously, I'd let the children and the dad, or what, vice versa, be had their time on their own, and I would just go and spend some time somewhere else. But if they didn't accept me and they're living with the dad full time, then I don't know. And they really don't like me, and I've tried really hard. I suppose, how can you carry on in a relationship like that?
Mm.
Because
I-
it's down to the dad as well. I'm just saying, like, if I was a man, it'd be down to the woman. So I'm just hypothetically saying it would be down to the dad to talk to the children and say, look, I'm in love with blah, blah, blah. She's living here. And if they don't want it, then, you know, it's down to the dad, wouldn't it? Or it'd be down to the mum to try and sort things out. Not
I completely
sleep
agree with
and then sleep and sneak you out when they get up.
I completely agree with Jackie Richard. I agree that it will be down to the parent, the biological parent,
Hmm.
to actually have a proper talk with the children, make them understand what is going on, how he wants the relationship to be. At the same time, be fair on children and give them time to adjust, and give them time to accept, and give them time to understand. Some children, obviously, once they started with no, they can carry on with no forever. But those ones, there's nothing you can do about it. But still give them time to adjust, and still be respectful towards your children, and be respectful towards your new partner, in order for peace to ever reign in the house. Richard is saying, oh no, Pastor Enoch is replying to Mr. Richard, I will compromise while we work on the attitude of the children, of the kids. And if it is not working, and I love the partner sneaking in until the key moved hard is allowed. Wow. I'm Richard. Pastor Enoch saying that he will sneak in and out to allow this relationship to work, to allow the children to accept him. And if the children don't accept him, he will just carry on sneaking in and out until the children are out of the way. Then make the relationship work. Hope you have your answer. Richard is asking if your partner were shocked or disappointed with you seeing a person with children. After all, there are plenty of single, unattached fish in the problem I see. Richard, if your partner were shocked or disappointed with you seeing a person with children. If you're not with a partner anymore, why should they be shocked about anyone that you see? Because you're not with them. They moved on, you moved on, so everyone is doing their lives, so I don't feel how they should be shocked. Richard is replying to Pastor Enoch, lol, you are a soldier in love, guerrilla tactic. So yeah, so they're arguing. If you just tune in, this is Let's See Chat. We are talking about partnership with children, if it is possible to live together, and if it's not possible, that there's no peace, what would you do? We're going to bring this topic to an end at the moment. If Richard and Pastor Enoch can give us their final words, but we are bringing the topic to an end. It's been a very exciting, a very nice and a lovely topic, because many family are going through issues where they have married or they are together with someone who has children, and they're not accepted by children, and they're really going through trauma and through stress. And again, there are some children who are also going through trauma and through stress because their mom or their dad has brought in a new partner who definitely don't like them. So, Jackie, your final word. What do you say? What would you advise people tonight who are going through marital stepchildren or marital stepmother or stepfather pen?
Right, I would say hold on in there, and time will tell. You know, obviously, give the biological parents some time with their children on their own, and then you could obviously make arrangements to do outings, going out, exciting things like, you know, bowling, cinema, getting involved in family, like going going out for dinner, you know, but at least let the biological parent have some time with their children alone. And yeah, time should tell, and hopefully it all works out. So good luck.
You heard it from our two men. One will sneak in until the situation works itself out. The other one thinking, sneaking in, should be a soldier. This is Let's Chit Chat. It really has been great, and we've been discussing if you happen to be in a relationship where children are already involved, what would you do? So, and the children don't accept you, or if you're a child who is in relationship where your parent has brought in a new partner who doesn't like you or doesn't love you, the advice or our words today is, if you are a parent or potentially going to be a parent and you're entering into someone's life who already has children, take it on board to love those children, to be patient with them, to be supportive of them, to understand that they could be your own biological children. And if they are the biological children, you will definitely support them through the naughtiness, through the reluctancy, through the disagreement, through the misunderstanding. And don't just look at them because they are somebody else's children and then you think if they were my own children, they cannot behave like that, because most children actually do behave like that without exception. So just be patient, be supportive of the other partner, because they are the children. No matter what's going on, they still feel when those children are hurt or when those children are not happy. Your partner is also not happy. They might portray the happy image in front of you, but deep down they are not happy because their children are not happy. So really, both partners should work together to try to accommodate the children. And again, also, if you are a child where a stepmom has entered your life or a stepdad has entered your life, trying to also be supportive of the stepmom and the stepdad, knowing that it will all work out. If your mom or your dad is happy, then you're also happy. Pastor Enoch is saying, I think, mommy, each one must assess the situation well if they have the strength. So Pastor Enoch said, assess the situation well. If you have the strength to cope in such relationship, then enter such relationship. If you don't, then it's better to abstain in order for you not to create pain or hurt to these young innocent children. Richard is saying relationships are challenging at the best of time. To enter relationships with existing children, take a deep breath, prepare to be patient, uh, sensitive and communicative. I do agree with both Pastor Enoch and Richard very much so, because relationships in the best of time are really hard and difficult. So even entering a relationship where there are children is even double hard and double difficult. So really just prepare to be patient, prepare to be understanding, prepare to be loving, prepare to be kind. And if you really want that relationship to work, then you have to do all those things, at least make it a work, make it try to make it work until otherwise. Until then, it's been great to have Jackie in the studio. It's also been great to have our two men really bombarding us with questions and also answering some of our questions. So that has been good. So please share, follow, and subscribe. This is Let's Chit Chat. Until we meet again next week, stay safe, stay
Okay,
well.
take care, bye.
Bye. Bye bye. We see you soon.
Thank you so much for staying with us until the end. It's been wonderful discussing this topic. I was brought up to believe that any worries not talked about become bigger problems. There's no wrong reason to reach out. If you're going through these issues or you know anyone who is going through this issue, please reach my contact number below and I will ensure to reach you back. My passion in life is to see you having a healthier, a happier, and a more balanced life. Thank you.